will know that he was a hero, not just because his life ended, but because how he lived it.
An emotional day of remembrance. You were just hearing there from the LeFlore County Sheriff, where hundreds gathered on Thursday to honor the life of Sheriff Deputy Thomas Walker LeMay. You remember he was shot and killed during a standoff in Wisner on Sunday. It was standing room only there at the high school gym in Wisner, where the funeral service took place. Family, friends, and law enforcement community members took the time to remember the legacy of a fallen hero. And multiple enforcement agencies all across the region, hundreds of them together to honor Deputy LeMay.
After the service, officers took part in a series of traditions to honor one of their own. That included a final salute, the folding of the American flag, and the playing of taps, a bugle call used to honor those who have served. For many officers, it's a way to stand with the family and remind them they're not alone.
Well, in other news, we'll take a look at video of a tornado spotted in Enid, Oklahoma. A storm moved through on Thursday evening there. Storm chasers were tracking a line of severe weather across northern Oklahoma at the time.
The Garfield County Sheriff's Office says that there were no immediate reports of fatalities and only minor injuries hours after the tornado passed through. A spokesperson for the Oklahoma Office of Emergency Management told CBS News that some homes were destroyed.
Well, meanwhile, drought conditions hitting much of the U.S. are hindering firefighting operations in locations like Georgia. One hotel in South Georgia is doing what it can to help people forced to evacuate amid raging wildfires.
Honestly, I think they're in shock. It's very quiet. They're coming in. There's not much movement around the hotel.
Well, some have already lost their homes to the flames. You can see that here. Meanwhile, nearly 2/3 of the lower 48 states have also been affected by a drought as of this week. Now, the U.S. Drought Monitor says it is the largest spring drought on record. President Trump announcing another ceasefire extension in the Middle East.
This time between Israel and Hezbollah, the Iran-supported militant group in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Trump says that he's not under pressure to strike a deal with Iran nearly 8 weeks into the war. Negotiations have hit a standstill during the now indefinitely extended ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz is at a sticking point.
Yeah, Iran releasing a video of forces seizing vessels in the critical waterway as President Trump insists that the U.S. has full control of the strait and that the U.S. military blockade remains.
You know who's under time pressure? They are. Because if they don't get their oil moving, their whole oil infrastructure is going to explode.
On social media Thursday, President Trump ordered the Navy to shoot and kill any boat that is putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, most congressional Democrats are pushing for an end to the conflict, with some arguing Iran has more leverage now.
At the Arkansas Capitol, the House and Senate are closer to wrapping up the fiscal session. Education funding took center stage again this week as funding continues to be the biggest debate during the session. An amendment to shape how isolated school districts receive money was passed out of the Special Language Committee and will be voted on next week. But Democrats say they're still concerned over funding going to educational vouchers and the LEARNS Act. Lawmakers hope to wrap up this session by next Wednesday. Well, the Clarksville High School Band is heading to Washington, D.C. next month to perform in the Memorial Day Parade.
The group applied by sending in videos and recordings of their concerts and were selected to represent the state of Arkansas this year. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach joins us now with more. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. Well, in addition to performing, the band will also get the honor of laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And while the trip will be a fun adventure, it also carries a deeper meaning for both the director and students.
We're going to D.C.
The Clarksville High School Band is headed to our nation's capital, preparing to march down Constitution Avenue on one of the country's most meaningful days. They'll perform patriotic classics,
Gallant Marines, Washington Post March, and Stars and Stripes Forever,
and will debut 2 original pieces.
One is Untold Story, in honor of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, and another is Long Lost Friend, that have brass solos and are just absolutely gorgeous pieces.
Director Danielle Hodges says this experience goes far beyond the music.
And we want our students to understand that music's not just about learning notes and rhythms. It's about making exceptional memories and supporting those around you in times of joy and in times of sorrow.
Students say this opportunity stands out from anything they've done before.
To perform for the president and all of our entire nation, it's a huge audience that we've never been able to have that experience before.
For senior Chloe Graves, the experience will also be deeply personal.
I have some veterans in my family, and I plan to go into the military as soon as I graduate, and so it's just a way of me giving back to what I'll be going into.
As they prepare to represent Arkansas, Graves says she hopes they make their state proud.
Leaving a legacy, and it's not just going on a trip and having fun, it's representing your state, your school, and just yourself. So yes, go have fun, but also know what you're putting yourself out there for.
From the parade route to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, this trip will be filled with moments they'll never forget.
To honor these servicemen and women is a tremendous honor, and one that I hope will make lifelong memories for our students. Music is meant to be shared, and that's what we want to do when we go to D.C.
In Clarksville, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.